Okay, so today, something I didn't think I'd need to have a look at, and that is the 7-Up Bosozoku scooter. Now, I haven't ridden this for quite some time, but some friends were down yesterday, inquisitive as boys can be, and a friend of mine, Chris, went to start it up just to give it a little lap up and down the farm, and it decided to leak fuel everywhere out of the carburetor. Now, I don't think this is anything major. It might just be that because the bike has sat for quite some time, one of the floats or the needles may be stuck. So I need to take the side panel off anyway, as it needs some repair to the paint. So let's get into it. Let's strip it down and let's see where we can find where this leak is coming from. So, not too sure if you guys can see, but this stain here is where the fuel was, hitting the floor. So, this is underneath. I don't know if you'll be able to pick it up, but under here I fitted to the fuel line from the tank a tap, so you can switch the fuel off and on to make sure that the carb is empty whilst it is sat, which it does a lot. So, I don't know if it's going to be the float, because as said, there's no fuel in the bowl, and I can see that. There is currently, because obviously yesterday we tried running it. But yeah, the reason I put a clear bowl on it is to see that all the fuel has gone. So what I like to do is keep the engine running with the fuel tap off, and then let it run out of fuel, and then the bike will just cut out, so I'm not leaving any fuel in the carb. Whether that's a good thing to do or not, I've always been told it is, if the bike is going to be sat for a length of time. But all I can do is take the panel off, and I need to anyway, and you can see how badly, weirdly, just this side, the paint is split. So I need to give this a flat back and a repaint anyway. So, seat will have to come off, the rack, the spoiler, possibly this side of the belly pan, and this side panel, and then we can see what's going on down here. So that is the side panel off, and as you can see, it's weird how it just happened on one side, but yeah, it's almost like the paint didn't quite take. I don't know if I maybe have put it on a little bit too thick, or I didn't let the previous coat dry enough before I applied the next. I'm not sure, but it's just this side, but it's not a problem. I'll double check to make sure I have a spare one of these, which I think I might have. So at least I can take this off, do the prep, repaint it, apply a sticker, and then you should never know. But the main job in hand is why this is deciding to leak. And weirdly, yesterday, it was almost coming from this gasket, but I know that this is all tight. So behind here may be the overflow, I'm not sure. But it'll only take a couple of seconds to take all this off, double check it all, and if needs be, I'll take it off, give it all a good clean, and we'll try again, and hopefully no leaks, and it will start up. So just to show you guys quickly what's going on, this is the tap I fitted. So if I turn this, you should see the bowl fills, and then it was leaking. Now the only, yeah, there you go. So yeah, what I think I'm going to have to do is take off the carb, not a problem. It's just this clamp here and it pulls off, and then we will check that there. Just make sure nothing is stuck. Okay, so the bowl is off. As you can see here, the floats move as they should. I have had all these jets off and just sprayed them with some carb cleaner, and had a look through with some light to make sure that they're not blocked, and they are not, they're perfect. Everything else looks good, but what I did find is this screw here, which sits at the back, because once this is fitted, you can see it's slightly tilted forwards, which would make sense to why the fuel looked like it was leaking from the front. But I'm wondering if this screw, maybe through vibration, had made its way loose, which was allowing the fuel to leak when the bowl was full. And that would make sense. So what I think I'm going to do is find some, I think they're M4 or M5 spring washers, and just add some spring washers to stop that vibration from allowing the screws to come loose again, because everything else looks good. So the gasket, no splits, no damage, which is great. The bowl itself, I've left a little bit of fuel in there and it wasn't leaking, but with an inspection there is no damage, no cracks. So I'm satisfied that this is all good. So with that, I'm going to refit the bowl to the carb. We will get it on the manifold, attach the fuel, and fingers crossed we have no leaks. So I have found a couple of small springs. I've already put 2 on. But yeah, this should work. Please don't hate me for doing this. I can't see any issues really. It's going to seal. The screws are plenty long enough. There's plenty of thread to go into the carb itself. So yeah, I'll put the other 2 on, and hopefully that'll fix the issue. That's all now back together. Got the fuel, throttle cable, choke cable. So all we need to do now is try it, and hopefully there's no leaks. So there it is, filling up, guys. Do we now have a sealed carburetor? Do I speak too soon? Or can I take that as a win? That's fantastic. I'm really, really happy with that. So I'm not going to quite try it yet. I'm going to clean up the filter. We will reuse it. It's only the plastic that's gone a bit manky, but a lot of it is hidden anyway under the cowling. But I will clean it out. I've got some carb cleaner. I'm going to spray it in there, give it a good clean. That can go back on. I'll switch the fuel off for now because that is not needed. But yeah, what I'll now do is start prepping the panel and yeah, get some paint on that and hopefully get rid of all that grazing. And we'll put it all back together, go for a ride, and we'll have ourselves a cleaned up, non-leaking scooter. Well, she runs, and very, very well. There she is ticking over. And as you can see, guys, we are all good. So that has done the job lovely. So I'm going to leave that to run for about 5 minutes just to get up to temperature and just take it for a few blips up and down the farm. Alright then guys, so I've spent a good couple of hours on this panel and all the grazes are now gone. I've gone from an 80 to an 800 grit just to give it a bit of a key. I do have a little bit of the white gloss paint left, so it should be enough just to give it a light couple of coats, seal it in with some Body Shop lacquer, let that dry for a couple of days, and then can apply the new sticker and get that back on the scooter. And then all should be good. And I'll probably do the same with a valve cover, just scotch it, bit of silver, bit of petrol resistant lacquer, and yeah, we'll have a running mint scooter once again. So this is the current state. You can see all the paper that I managed to go through. But yeah, there were some really quite deep grazes and separation in the paint. I can only assume I applied maybe a little bit too much, or I might even applied the lacquer too soon and it affected the base coat in the white. I don't know, but that is all good, prepped. There's a couple of repairs I want to do, which I will do before the paint. But yeah, much better and well worth the effort. So this is the current state, guys. Obviously the panel is off. The engine covers are also off, and they have been prepped and sprayed with some silver VHT paint that I had. Now, what I'm thinking of doing, and I was going to do this before, but I never bothered, but I think now it'd be a really nice detail, and I'm thinking of using the green and painting in the Honda. The same green as what I've used here. I have plenty of the paint left. It is a rattle can, but I can spray some of this into a pot and should be able to use a fine paintbrush just to put in the green into there. And I think that would be nice. But this has come out much nicer than before. The other half is outside and it should be dry. There is the other half. Yep, bone dry, so that's brilliant. So that can go back onto the engine. And here is the side panel. Now, I will admit, it is not perfect. I could have sanded it down and spent a bit more time, but I've already got a few hours into this. And if you look really, really close, you will see some very light sanding marks. But in a couple of years, I'll probably be changing the complete colour and theme of this scooter anyway. The whole point is that you can change it for whatever you want, as many times as you want. But at the moment, and for what it's going to be used for, once the sticker is on and this is back on with everything else, I think it's going to look much better than before. So I'm going to wait for that to dry for another day, and then I can get that back on once the engine covers are back on, get the sticker on, and we're all good. Already looking so much better, and that's only one half. And with the green detail in the Honda, especially against this red, definitely will accentuate the 7up graphics, as you can see just here. Definitive colours, obviously the red and the green, and this is why I went for a red air filter. So yeah, I'll spend a little time just doing the green, let that dry. We can get that on, get the side panel on, and we should all be good. Even though this is just some simple fixes and a little bit of sort of upkeep, it's actually made me realise how much fun it was to work on this little scooter. It was such a brilliant little project. And a couple of bits almost had me, because it is an old scooter, some of the electrics, but overall, such an amazing little thing to work on, and I had so much fun doing it. And just doing this is making me want to do maybe a little bit more. There's a couple of bits which I always thought I'd look at again and maybe just make that little bit different or just better. But at the moment, I'm happy with where this is going. All is going right, so at the moment, I don't want to push my luck. I just want to get on what I've got here, get that back on, and just enjoy it. So a job I completely overlooked, and whilst the panel is off, I thought this is the perfect time to do it. And that is to empty the 2-stroke oil tank. Now, the oil metering pump, which is just here, obviously regulates the amount of oil required for the original 49cc. We're now running a 70cc, so it needs more oil. So I'm draining this, and as you can see, it's pretty much there. Cap it off, and then we just mix the oil direct to the fuel at a ratio of 40:1. So 25 ml to every 1 litre of fuel. And yeah, that will be a perfect mix of oil and petrol. So that's what we're going to do, but it's almost there. As I said, cap it off, and it's now an obsolete part of the scooter. So I've pulled the scooter out again this afternoon. The panel is brilliant. I'm very, very happy with the finish. Much better than I was expecting now it's dried. And it's better that it at least doesn't have all the grazing. It's still not 100%, but none of this is. But yeah, then just got to fit the rear cover because the green was left to dry overnight. And that does look really good. I'm happy I did that. And I think it'll look even better once it's back on. But what I'm going to do first is get the spoiler back into place and secure it either side just with these little holes here. Get the little rack on the back and then secure it all down with the nuts on the top. And then we can get the seat back on and then the rear cover, start it up, Fingers crossed we have no leaks from the carburetor, and we'll go for a few laps up and down the farm. So I've pulled the scooter inside and I have fitted the clutch cover, and I am really happy with that. I should have done that a long time ago. I think I was just scared of making a mess of it, but honestly, it wasn't too bad. I took it home in the end, took my time with it, and I've let it dry for 24 hours. It probably took me about 45 minutes, I'd say, give or take. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Nice detail. Now currently with the spoiler, there was a couple of little bits and pieces which I wasn't happy with. Where it's been stored, it's scuffed a little bit. So I flattered that back, brushed it over with some gloss white, and now it's in its first layer of lacquer. I'll add another 2 layers to that, and then this can go on also. Okay guys, so other than a polish, you can see that is beautifully shiny. That was 3 coats of the Body Shop lacquer. I always use it, it is fantastic. So yeah, I think it's dry enough to get on to the scooter. You can see here also, I've reapplied the 7-Up sticker on this side. I've also just touched this up. It's still not perfect, but a 7-Up sticker does cover it. It was just starting to split, which would show underneath the sticker. So I'm hoping now that's going to be much better, and I'll reapply a 7-Up sticker. It's just where I use 1 mirror instead of the 2. I just covered it over. But yeah, for now, I think we can get on the spoiler as it is nice and dry. And there you go, the final detail. The sticker's back on and you can see no witness marks of the repair. So very, very happy with that. I have loved working on this again, and I know there's going to be a few more bits I'll pick out which I'm going to want to do. But all I'm going to do for now is get it started. Hopefully all is good with the carburetor and no leaks. And then we can get it running up and down the farm. And I'm looking forward to this. It's been a long time. Okay then guys, so after a couple of laps up and down the yard, I am pleased to report that we have no leaks, which is fantastic. Also same's ruining the paint on our freshly painted clutch cover with the green Honda detail, which I'm really happy I spent a bit of time to do. I've just laid this mat. I made this a little while ago, and I'm just weighing down a spare 7-Up sticker to see how it looks for a detail. This will only be used for shows, not in general use. But yeah, I could get a template and have this painted on so it's more permanent. But at the moment, I'm just playing around with ideas, and this is a, as I said, a spare sticker. So I thought I'd give it a go, but I'll leave that there for a couple of days just to weigh it down, and we'll see what result we get. I've absolutely loved working back on this scooter again. It's a nice break away from some of the other projects. And this is about 2 years ago, I think I started this. And if you haven't already, please check out the playlist for this build on the channel. And if you do enjoy the videos, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It's always really appreciated. And for those of you that haven't subscribed to the channel, even better if you do so. Keep up to date with all the latest videos and all the little random projects I have going on this channel. But with that said, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.